Welcome back to Lobotomy Corporation. I'm Grillmastah, and today we have Parasyte Tree. Parasyte Tree is a tree that has the face of a woman on it. It grows, blossoms, as more people enter it. The people that enter it get a little flower above their head. When you send somebody in, instinct is common, attachment is common, insight is common, and repression is low. The longer that you go without sending somebody in, the more the background actually ends up lighting up, and it will eventually call people in if you ignore it. Employee Julian feels delicate scent of grass embracing the air. The sound of rustling leaves is incredibly tranquil. Most of the employees here are unhappy. They feel great happiness in the smallest blessing. Incandescent blessings come for employee Julian. When the flower of blessing finally blooms from Parasyte Tree, then if it's their first time in, they have a little animation where they show their love for the Parasyte Tree. When the fifth employee enters and receives a blessing, something happens to the tree. It transforms into a more of a nightmare-style tree with 5 little faces and an eyeball in the middle. Your employees proceed to run around in sheer chaos. They stop and they transform into little trees that are very similar to the original abnormality. They need to be suppressed immediately, for they give off spores that affect everybody around them. They will continuously do mind damage over and over to your employees. So it is better to send them in with white shields and watch their health. If an employee goes crazy while fighting the infected other employees, they proceed to turn into one as well, and you have to suppress them afterwards. As far as I have seen on the several attempts I have tried this does not end up back in the original form. It may by the next day, but for the rest of the day it plays out like this, and you cannot send anybody in here. The story of Parasyte Tree. This abnormality is made based on the idea of the Tumblebug backer LLOOLL530. A tree with plentiful of leaves. Those leaves with rich green color gives off comfortable vibe. The flowery scent carried by a gentle breeze was refreshing. The employees who were in contact with the abnormality testified that it provided them psychological comfort. This is proved by the employees' increased efficiency in working and decrease in mental contamination. An excerpt from an employee's diary. I thought it was just my imagination, but the voice sounded clearer and clearer as my body and mind exhausted. I can help you. Yes, you can help me. What am I wondering for? I smell the scent of a flower. They imported a tree. It was a beauty at first glance. I could smell the scent of flower even though there was no breeze or wind. My attachment for the tree blindly grew after I smelt the scent. I was very intuitive since my childhood. I could sense that this attachment is hazardous. I tried to avoid getting assigned to the tree by doing everything I could. Well, if you put it that way, just this once, okay? Geez, did that tree do something to you? His banter flies over into my ear. Did it do something? Yes, it did, and it scares me. A few days later, the janitor, who was originally optimistic, has now become faithful to the work with a smile. I felt uneasy because the face seemed strangely comfortable. I'm looking good lately. Yeah? Well, that's because the tree is helping me out, he answered lightheartedly. From my experience of several years, I knew that there were only a few who could smile so sincerely while working for this company. That means, when someone smiles, it was a sign that something went wrong. I felt unnerved and immediately reported to the superior. The answer for the superior came sooner than I thought. It was saying that I am to file an observation report on the abnormality because there are several abnormal behaviors related to the tree spotted in other employees, not only the one I reported about. The order forced me to contact this tree that I had been avoiding with my best. I knew I couldn't hand it over to someone else this time. I couldn't see a barren, naked tree that I saw the day it was imported. Instead, it was the containment unit covered in grass that seemed to be sprawling around the tree as the center. But grass can't grow in the containment unit. This facility is completely inorganic. That moment, I felt something was wrong. Hello, have you come here to be blessed too? A voice echoed inside my head. It was difficult to decrypt the content as the writing became heavily distorted from this point. I don't know how I wrote the observation report. What's certain is that I just wrote what I felt about the tree, that this beautiful plant is making employees happy and will contribute to humanity's quest for prosperity and advancement. But how can an abnormality be a good influence on humanity? I just want to help you. A voice without a speck of malicious intent echoed again in my head. Yes, it is just helping me. And if you're okay with it, could you bring your friends who are having a hard time? I want to help them. Yes, this tree will easily bring peace to their mind. Speaking of which, the newbies seem to be pretty depressed lately. I know a place that can make you feel better, if you want to come along. She followed me without any suspicion. It was not hard to bring her to the tree's containment unit. I offer her to the tree. She can. She will get better. You brought your friend. You are a good child. Let me gift you with something. I feel something sprouting in me. I can't move my limbs. No, it's not something bad. I am being reborn with the tree. The tree and I are becoming one. Ah, I can feel it now. Management tips. A bud sprouted from the upper part of the parasite tree, blessing the employee when the work is finished on it. The employee with the blessing enjoyed from the increased work efficiency and mental health. Growth counter decreased when repression work is done. Growth counter decreased in low chance when the abnormality escapes. I think this is when an abnormality escapes. Growth counter decreased when work is done 5 times or other abnormalities while Parasyte Tree was being neglected. When growth counter reached 0, Parasyte Tree forced employees to its containment unit and blessed them. When 5 buds sprouted, Parasyte Tree turned dark and the employees who were blessed panicked. After a while, stems ripped through their skin and turned them into a sapling. D04-108-1, which strikingly resembles the abnormality itself. D04-108-1 secretes highly contagious and fatal poison. They need to be immediately removed to decontaminate the area. It is common on all 3 insight, instinct, and attachment, and low on repression. The ego weapon is another ranged, is red, and it's pretty nice to have. The ego suit is good against red, good against white, not so much on pale and black. This is another one that you just kind of fall back to, but it has a nice look as well. The ego gift is something that looks like elf ears on your character. HP +3 and SP +3. And it says non-escaped, but it does call people into it, which proceeds to make them transform. And that has been Parasyte Tree. Until next time.